Hi, my name is Trevor Ellse from Carp Fishing HQ. I want to talk to you about leads. I run a couple of fisheries of my own, and the thing that concerns me is the amount of lead that's being dropped off in weedy waters. All the waters I fish are weedy, but sometimes you can get away with using a lead and not dropping it off and leaving it on the lake bed. It's hazardous waste in my opinion. And I've got a lead that I use consistently in weedy waters where I believe that the fish will not get snagged and the fish will rise to the surface very quickly. And that's called either, in some circles it's called a riser, in other circles it's called a trilobe. I refer them to as trilobe leads, and that's what they look like. They've got a beveled edge on them, they've got a flat surface on them, and I use them in ranges from 2 ounce up to 2 3/4 ounce, because if you start using 3 ounce leads you're back into the same scenario where you've got too much lead and it's going to drag the fish into the weed, and more than likely you'd lose that fish. So that is a trilobe lead. They do come in various sizes and shapes, but what do? Well, when you catch a fish, if you've got one of these on in 2 ounces and you're catching a fish of say 20-30 pounds, they will rise up with the fish. They won't drag the fish back down into the weed, and they won't cause a snag, and that's what we're trying to avoid when we're fishing. Now, as I said on a previous video, I have caught 340s this year in weedy water, and I use one of these trilobe leads on every occasion on those captures, and every occasion the fish rose to the surface and I was able to land it safely without dropping the lead. So for me it's got to be a great tip, but the problem you're going to have is no one wants to make them anymore. Why? I don't know, but I managed to find a few of these leads in a tackle shop that I used to go to many years ago. I popped in to see Pete down in Folkestone at the old High Street, and I buy quite a bit of gear off of Pete when I'm around in there, just pop in, have a cup of tea, and he had some of these in his glass case. I said, oh, I didn't realise that you could still get them. He said, I probably can't, they've been in there for years. So I bought the lot. So you won't get any in Pete's shop in Folkestone, unfortunately, but you may find some in your local shop where the owner had bought these leads. They're not very fashionable, but they do a great job in retaining the fish on the surface without having to lose a chunk of lead onto the lake bed. So that's my tip for today. Trilobe or riser leads, very good for landing fish without actually losing the lead.